We'll start that now. Well, because if I don't do it when I think about it,
Yes.
it may not happen.
Thank
So
you.
yes, we are recording this, but it is for the purposes of assisting us with the minute taking process. Kathleen, glad that you're here. Jessica, glad that you're here. Oh, Madam Chair, I think we could get started.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your joining us, participating with our AGM. And I hope you had a chance to enjoy our presentation that we did this morning with the co-presentation with Tava. It was a really inspiring speaker this morning. So as usual, I'm going to begin with my usual disclaimer. I will be reading from a script. I will be presenting the slides and launching the polls. So bear with me if I have any technical glitches. My colleague Heather Johnson will be monitoring the chat and any questions that come up. So if you have any questions, she will let me know. And our secretary, Jessica Payne Parks, will be recording the minutes of the AGM, and she may chime in if she missed anything. So in accordance with our bylaws, the 2021 annual general meeting of the Professional Association of Volunteer Leaders of Ontario is called to order. Following our bylaws, the notice of meeting was emailed to members 21 days prior to today's date. And also in accordance with our bylaws, PAVRO requires 10% of our total membership to make quorum today. We currently have 179 members in good standing. Therefore, we require 18 members in attendance and proxy. And as Heather has asked, please register with your full name in the chat. And Heather, can you confirm how many people are in attendance?
We have 33 people on the call. We have 34 people coming into the call, and we should have 33 members. The 34th person is our fantastic administrator, Joanne.
Okay, great. And Joanne, can you confirm how many people we have in proxy?
We have one person.
Great. So since we do have quorum, we can officially call the AGM to order. Okay, following best practices, we will adopt Robert's Rules of Order. Edition number 11 is our rules of order for this meeting. Please note that a motion must be made and seconded in order for us to discuss the motion. Once we have discussed the motion, or if there's no discussion or questions, we then put the motion to a general vote. You will see that we will be using poll questions for voting purposes. When there's an opportunity to vote for a motion, you'll be asked to vote in favor, opposed, or abstain. Use your keyboard to choose the option you prefer. And if you're having any technical difficulties, please just vote in the chat. To make a motion or to second a motion, please use the chat and type in I move or I second and include your full name. And using that chat function will ensure that, that your motions are recorded.
Yeah.
I think we should be able to unmute everyone.
Yeah, because you grew up in Niagara, right? Like, so it is.
Yes, thank you. That happens. Okay, so before we proceed to the AGM agenda and approval, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the land in which we live and work on. I'm just going to move this so it's not in the way of my slide. Okay, PAVRO recognizes that our work and the work of our members takes place on traditional Indigenous territories across Ontario. We recognize the ways in which those of us who are settlers have benefited from colonization and reflect on the attempted genocide of Indigenous people in Canada, which spans centuries. We call for the reconciliation of current injustices, as well as those that have been carried out against Indigenous communities, which include but are not limited to broken treaty relationships. We commit to working towards a just, inclusive, and vibrant community for all. We encourage you to learn more about the traditional territories of the Indigenous peoples where you live, work, and play using tools like nativeland.ca. And we also invite you to incorporate a land acknowledgement into your personal and professional lives and have shared a template on our website. We wish to express gratitude to Mother Earth and for the resources we're using, and to honor all the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people who have been living on the land since before settlers arrived and continue to do so. We invite you to reflect upon this land acknowledgement, what it means to your personal story, and what the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action and the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls calls for justice mean to you. This land acknowledgement is a living document that will be updated as we learn and grow. We welcome your feedback so that we can strengthen this acknowledgement as well as relationships with Indigenous peoples and communities. Thank you. Okay, our proposed agenda is as presented on this slide. We will review our financial position, elect our officers and directors, and review some highlights from PAVRO's 2021 year. Okay, so here is where I'm going to launch my first poll.
Okay, so we need someone to make a motion to accept and second that before we go to the poll.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
a
exactly what I was gonna say.
a little too fast. I'm like speeding through this. Okay.
Yeah.
So may I have a motion to approve the agenda and a seconder?
So Dean has moved to approve the agenda. Thank you, Dean. Do we have a seconder? Looks like Adrian Bowdry has seconded that. Thank you, Adrian. So I think we can, if there are no additions or discussion, then we can move on to the poll.
Yes, I launched it a little too fast. You think I'd know what I'm doing by now, Heather? I've done 3 of these, including that special meeting. Okay, we're up to 26 people, have 27. It's going up nicely. Okay, we're about 29 are in favor. I will end the poll now because the numbers aren't going up anymore. So I'm going to share the results. And oh, one more snuck in. There we go. So we are in, so this motion has passed.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have in the minutes 30 in favor. And
So we actually have 31 because I can't vote on the poll because I'm the host. So there's 31. I voted in the chat.
perfect. Thank you.
Great.
Okay. So the 2020 AGM minutes, so that's the minutes from last year's meeting, were sent to all members by email in advance of this meeting. Were there any questions, comments, or corrections? Heather, are you seeing anything in the chat?
I am not seeing anything in the chat.
Okay, so motion number 2, may I have a motion to approve the 2020 AGM minutes, and do we have a seconder?
You'd like to type your name into the chat and say, I make a motion.
And you know what? I just realized I made a mistake in the slide here. It should say 2020 AGM minutes because that's what we're approving, not the 2021.
So Kim Ubach has moved to accept the minutes of the 2020 AGM, and Carrie Estelles has seconded that. Thank you.
Okay. So that means that I can launch my next poll.
Oh, okay.
And if there's anyone having challenges with the using the polling feature, you're certainly welcome to put your response in the chat. We're up to 28 people who voted.
And we have 3 in the chat, so we have 33.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, so I will end the poll now. 31, excellent. Okay.
So we have 30, and then 3 in the chat, so there are 34 people who voted and approved.
Great.
Great.
Okay, this motion has passed. Thank you. Okay, I'm just gonna close that. Okay, and then motion number 3, may I have a motion to approve the minutes from the special members meeting held on March 30th, 2022. So those were emailed as well with the notice that went out 21 days ago.
So Rachel Murphy has made the motion to approve the minutes of the special members meeting held March 30th. And Raoul Dessay has seconded that.
Okay, great. I will now launch the next poll. Oops. Oh, one more person just jumped into, welcome Charmaine. There we go.
So, and we have 2 in the chat who have voted as well. So 33 members have voted in favor.
Okay, so I'm going to end the poll, share results. I've got 32 here.
And then 2, so 34.
Okay, all this motion has passed. Thank you very much. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to turn it over to our treasurer, Amitabh Dada. So stop share.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to our annual AGM. I am the treasurer for PAVRO, and I will go over the reviewed financial statements that were all posted. So you should all have a copy of those. So if we start right up top with the statements were reviewed by an accounting firm based in Toronto, MP Group Professional Corporation.
Amitabh, do you have something you share on the
Yeah,
screen?
I can share
that'd be
I can
great.
share the slides actually.
Okay.
Oh, it says that it's disabled participant sharing.
Oh, can we
Hang
make
on,
him
hang on.
Yes,
hang on.
thank you, Heather.
You should now be a co-host and should be okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, Heather. We'll just share that.
Perfect, we can see that.
Everybody can see it? Okay, great. So yeah, so if we start right up top, actually, on page 4 of the statements, the conclusion came out that there was nothing materially misstated in the financial statements, and everything presented was in accordance with the accounting standards for not-for-profit. So that's great. We want to start with that. Next page following that is the statement of operations. And I will walk through the statements and also give you major highlights of the changes that happened. So if we look at our first line there, revenues, the conference revenues were down slightly by 19.6%, but then the membership dues were up, and membership dues have a higher base. So they were up by approximately 10.8 or 11%. So for an overall decline in revenues of only 1.5%. So that's actually really good, considering that we were still in pandemic phase. So for PAVRO to have sort of matched what was earned in 2020, that was a good accomplishment. The next up is our operating expenses, and the largest changes were in survey and workshops. So there were no expenses occurred, so it went down. And also the second largest was in the independent contractors. So we were able to sort of negotiate some sort of arrangement where some of the expenses for our contractors were reduced. And that's what that shows there, approximately 19%. And another highlight was that the conference in 2021 compared to 2020 contributed more to PAVRO's net financial position, because in 2020 conference revenues were about approximately $11,000, but we paid $10,200 earning those. But in 2021 they were almost 8,900, but PAVRO only ended up incurring $1,400 to earn those revenues. So that was a great milestone as well. And then overall in operating expenses, other expenses too, like our interest and bank charges, telephone and internet, during mid-year, they were also reduced. So that will show up in next year's statements. Any questions so far? Now, I will have a moment for questions later on, but if we now scroll to the yeah, I didn't miss anything. The 6th page of the statements, that the statement of changes in net assets, that's just the historical excess of profits over the years that have accumulated. So it started off at 40,000 after taking off a slight net deficiency. It's close to 40,000 for 2021 as well. Following that is our statement of financial position, or also called the balance sheet. In that, there were a few more highlights. For example, the cash position improved. So that went up by close to 20% from last year. And it was really a result of containing our expenses during the year. Another thing was that year-end payables went up from 5,600 to 6,400. So approximately 15.5%, largely because the cost to incur the statements or to get the statements prepared went up slightly. And other than that, it's just the HST, because in 2020, some installments were made, and that so that's why the 2021 balance is up. And then we move on to our to the statement of cash flows. So that shows what sort of cash was generated from business operations and any investing activities, and what the change in cash flow is from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So that would be the 8th page of the statements as prepared by the external accountant. It shows that there was a lower overall deficit. So there was 25,000 approximately in 2020, but in this year it was only $900, just over $900. And that's largely because of an expense incurred at year end to get our statements prepared. And other than that, there was no redemption of our fixed income investments required to operate in 2021. So that was another great milestone that we're very proud of. And it shows, lastly, it shows that the increase in cash flow from start of the year was approximately $2,100. So 13,000 or 13,317 was the cash position at the end of the year. Other than that, what follows the financial statements from page 9 onwards to page 11 are just standard disclosures that are required by GAAP for not-for-profits. And that's what the external accountants have presented in those pages. So I can take questions now.
I think we actually have to make a motion to approve the financial statements and second it before we can have discussions about them.
Sure.
So I will, so may I have a motion to approve? Oh, well, you can ask that.
Yeah. So if that's the case, Alex, thank you. So I then propose a motion to approve the 2021 financial statements as presented and prepared. And can I have a seconder, please?
So
I
we
have
Lola-
Charmaine as our seconder. Thank
Okay,
you.
perfect.
Okay, so now can we open up the floor to discussion or questions? Charmaine has raised her hand, it looks like.
Hi, I just had a question about the survey. That's the SVOS survey that we're referring to in the financials?
That's correct.
Okay, and
Yes.
I had another question. Forgive my ignorance. They're ignorant questions, but the conference did super well, and I'm assuming one was virtual, so had less expenses, and one had more expenses because it was in
Correct.
person. I was wondering the difference between the 2 years.
No,
Correct.
actually, sorry, can I
Yeah,
answer that
go
one?
ahead.
Amitabh?
Yeah, go ahead.
They were both virtual, actually. It's just that in 2020, we had contracted with a kind of a facilitating team. They were supposed to come to our in-person event, which ended up getting then canceled, right? So, and it was a pretty high expense to hire this training team, because they charged us $10,000, and they charged us that even though we were no longer going to be in person. And normally, because we can't charge as much for virtual conferences, that's why we saw much less revenue
Thank you.
or profit. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm impressed. The financials are super impressive. So well done to PAVRO. But no, I wondered about that because that was an owie, I thought for sure. And yeah, you explained the owie for sure. Thank you.
And I do have to say, we have to give huge kudos to our contractors, especially Joanne Deschamps, for helping us reach this, like without her, without her being flexible about this, we would have been in deficit. So it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions?
I am not seeing any questions in the chat.
Okay, so that means we can put this to a vote. So I'm going to launch the next poll.
Amitabh, if you'd like to stop sharing. Perfect, there we go. Thank you.
Okay, I'm seeing about 25 people who have voted using the poll.
And we have two
Oh,
votes of
one up.
approvals. We have two approvals in the chat as well.
28. 29.
Just remember, if you're having trouble with the poll feature, you can always type in your response into the chat box. I think we could probably close that. We're not seeing any others. So we have two approvals in the chat, plus our 29 online for 31.
Okay,
All right, so I have 31 for that motion in favor. Thank you, everyone.
yes. Amitabh, do you want to make the next motion?
Yeah, I would like to present the motion to reappoint MP Group to review the 2022, so this year's financial statements.
And do we have a seconder?
Dean Black has seconded that motion. Thank you, Dean.
I will now put this to a vote. Sorry, and I did forget to ask if there was any questions about this motion. But it looks like everybody has voted in favor of reappointing.
And we have 3 in favors in the chat as well. So for a total of 33.
Well, thank you. It looks like this motion has passed as well. Thank you, Amitabh.
Thank you.
Okay. So I am presenting the slate of nominees according to bylaw Articles 6, Section 1. This year, I'm very excited to announce that we have a full slate of proposed officers and directors, and I'm extremely thankful to our nominations committee for their diligent work on helping us with the selection process. Keep your eyes on the power line this summer as we introduce our newest board members to you. So I'm just going to go to the next slide here. So can I have a motion to accept the report of the nominating committee? As this is a committee of the board, we do not require a seconder.
I will make that motion and record it. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any discussions or questions?
Alex, perhaps you could go back so people could see
Yes.
the list of names. Thank you.
So as you can see,
So we've been asked to read them out. So for president, we have Heather Johnson coming in for her first term of for 2 years. Vice president will be Veronica Daly. Treasurer will be Amitabh Datta. Past president will be Alex Vasic. Our secretary will be Nicole Crows. And then directors, Denise Hawken, Deb Watch, Dean Black, and Joe Sakhar.
I'm actually pleased about the gender diversity we're introducing this year.
So there's been a request to tell us a little bit about the nominees. I will do my best. So I'll just go down the list. So I'm Heather Johnson. I have continuing on the board. I'm moving from the role of vice chair into the role of vice president into president. Veronica Daly is joining the board for the first time. She is a volunteer coordinator with UHN out of Toronto. Amitabh Datta is an honorary member of PAVRO. He is a certified professional accountant and has been serving in that role for 2 or 3 years. Alex Vasic is moving from, they're all in Ontario, yes. She's moving from the role of president into past president. Nicole Crows is from Thunder Bay, volunteer coordinator coming on for her first term. Denise Hawkins works in Ottawa. I can't remember which hospital. Denise, leap in there. She is moving into her second year. Pardon me?
The Ottawa Hospital.
Ottawa Hospital. Thank you. And
Good
she's
guess.
coming into her second year on the board in the role of communications director. And then we have 3 new directors who are joining us. Deb Watch, who works with Community Living Mississauga. Dean Black, who is the executive director of the Royal Canadian Air Force. Deneen, fill that in, rest of that in for me, because I'm sure I'm missing something.
Yeah, Royal Canadian Air Force Association and certification director for the International Association for Strategy Professionals.
Perfect. And Dean is in the Ottawa area. And then Joe Sakhar is a marketing specialist. Joining us for his first term, and he is from the Toronto area. And as Alex has mentioned, we will be highlighting and showcasing all of our new directors as we throughout the summer months and into the fall.
Thank you so much, Heather. Any other questions or comments before I ask everyone to vote the slate in?
I actually have a question. In terms of Deb, Dean, and Joe's roles, what are their specific roles on the
Well,
board?
because so those are from what I've understood from Kathleen Douglas in the past, we don't necessarily vote in roles. We're voting in directors at this point. So I don't know that the minutes would actually need to reflect their operational roles. Because in our bylaws, there are no roles other than officers. So the four officers on the board are, president, vice president, treasurer, and past president. And then everybody else is a director.
Director. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to now put this to a vote. So please vote to approve the slate of officers and directors as presented on the slide. Amazing. Well, that was really fast. I've got 30 people who voted in the poll. Any in the chat, Heather?
So we have 1 in favor and we have 1 abstention.
Okay. And
Excuse me, we have 2 in favor in the chat and 1 abstention.
Okay, wonderful. And that motion has passed. Or the vote is, sorry, the vote was carried.
So do we have 28 in favor and 1 abstention? Sorry.
No, it was it was 30 in the
30.
poll. Yeah.
Okay, so 32 in favor.
32 in favor, yeah.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
So thank you. Oh, I'm just going to move ahead here. Thank you to the entire board for their continued support. And with that, I'm now officially past president. Woohoo! But I will hold the floor till the end of this meeting.
You're running the rest of this meeting. Just
Yes,
let
I
me know, okay? Not so fast.
So we'd like to take this opportunity to thank outgoing board members. First of all, Kathleen Douglas not only deserves our gratitude, but an honorable mention as an outstanding member and PAVRO board of director. For those of you who are unaware of Kathleen's history with PAVRO, she's the only past president to have served twice as past president. She served as our president from 2013 to 2015, and when the pandemic hit in 2020, came out of PAVRO retirement to help us stabilize our board, which was in a very precarious state, given the majority of our members worked in the beleaguered hospital sector. She helped guide us through our strategic planning process last year. Prior to her current role with us, Kathleen was awarded the Linda Buchanan Award in 2016. And if she hadn't already received the President's Award in 2017, I'd be giving it to her again. Thank you so much, Kathleen, and for your dedication and your wisdom. PAVRO has tremendously benefited from it. Our second outgoing director is Jessica Pang Parks, and we will be very sorry indeed to see her leave her post as secretary and step down from the board. Her attention to detail was unparalleled, which is an invaluable trait for your board secretary to have, along with her organizational and time management skills. Beyond this crucial administrative role, she was a key person on our Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Working Group and drafted both the Land Acknowledgement and our Anti-Oppression Statement. She was also a key member of our Advocacy Working Group in 2020. Finally, Jessica won our Allison Cared Young Leaders Award for her professional and volunteer work, an honor which she richly deserved. Thank you so much for your contributions, enthusiasm, and diligence. Florence Eddyberry is stepping down after serving 5 years on the board. She was our Director of Strategic Partnerships AVA Liaison for 2 years, and then the co-director and then of Member Services for 3. She juggled her role on the board with her demanding job in a hospital setting, and we are very grateful for all her support during this challenging time. Thank you for your dedication during the past 5 years. And finally, I wish to acknowledge Lorna Kentromboni, who was the other half of our member services team. She stepped down in January of this year, and we're grateful for her contributions last year. So all members will receive a copy of the slide deck after this meeting, and it will also be posted on our website. We're pleased to share the snapshot of what has been another challenging year for PAVRO. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat during my presentation. So the pandemic continued to provide challenges and opportunities for PAVRO. Membership at the end of December 2021 was 198. This is a reduction of 10% from the end of last year. Our downward trend in membership was not as sharp as in 2020 when we saw a 22% decrease. We do expect memberships to grow again in 2022 and beyond as our sector emerges from the pandemic. We continue to focus on digital engagement and professional development with members and non-members in 2021. On January 28th, Kathleen hosted the COVID-19 and Resilience in the Voluntary Sector workshop, and we had 212 people sign up for that, including 124 non-members who attended free of charge. On the 25th of February, we hosted a volunteer managers moderated discussion. Then we had on March 22nd, I Before D with Anne-Marie Schrouder. So that's inclusion before diversity. Then we had our, in May, we hosted our 3-day annual PAVRO conference, Breaking Forward, and we had 132 registrants over 3 days. And then other virtual events in 2021, on September 30th, Reva Cooper hosted our facilitated discussion on certification. On October 20th, we hosted our inaugural hosting of the Alive, Better Impact and VMBC hybrid conference, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Real Impact for the Real World. And then finally, we closed out the year with our award celebration on December 5th, which is International Volunteer Day. Communications to members and non-members continued to improve. Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Under the leadership of Denise Hawken as communications director and ePowerline editor Ruth Pentinga. So we are now, our Powerline subscriptions continue to increase. We're currently close to 800 subscribers between the members and non-members. Social media also, interactions are also trending up. 431 Twitter followers, which is about the same as last year. Our LinkedIn page followers have grown, an increase of 88% from last year. Our LinkedIn group is at 940 members, which is amazing. We have an increase in Facebook followers, a 24% increase from last year, and then 20 Instagram followers. So we do have an Instagram account that was connected to our conference, and it was brand new. So that's why there's only 20 followers, but you know what, there's nowhere to go but up. And we've just recruited a brand new social media coordinator who's going to really help us boost those numbers even more. So as noted in last year's AGM, discussions about equity, diversity, and inclusion made huge headlines in media. They continue to do it, unfortunately. And we had a lot of discussion within our membership and on our board team. And we did mention this last year, but because the actual statements were launched earlier this year, I wanted to bring it up again that we had an EDA working group that was formed by the end of 2020, which resulted in the new anti-racism and anti-oppression statements and the land acknowledgement, which were launched on our website in February of this year. Alongside the facilitated discussion on certification on September 30th, PAVRO surveyed members for their input on the future of our own certification, our credential, the CVRM, and whether we should partner with the CCVA in offering the CVA exam. So for those of you who don't know about this, so the CVA is the more internationally recognized credential. The CVRM that we developed was Ontario only. A majority were in favor of partnering with the CCVA as long as the CVRM was maintained or grandfathered in some way. So the recommendation from this report led to our special members meeting that we held earlier this year. So we will have a more robust discussion about this in our AGM next year. Ongoing member services included certification and mentorship. So in 2021, 4 members recertified their CVRM and 1 member became certified. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, our certifications were paused in August 2021, pending our whole strategic review process. In 2021, the mentorship committee reviewed their program and re-envisioned this program into a monthly virtual drop-in for peer learning and mentoring. And this was launched in January. So we will have a great report for you for the next AGM. So looking ahead, we do plan to offer once again the Alive, Better Impact and VMPC Hybrid Conference in October of 2022. So we will be a virtual host, and the theme of this year's conference is Impact Evaluation, Data That Matters, and Creating the Right Story. And as we did last year, we made sure that we were just offering this to AVA groups that weren't hosting it themselves. Obviously, we don't want to be in competition with our AVAs. We do look forward to reinstating SVOS at the end of this year. So we will be hopefully hosting a focus group meeting to get your impact, to get our customers' input on what changes they'd like to see. We do anticipate hosting our PAVRO Awards on November 5th, which is International Volunteer Managers Day. And fingers crossed, wouldn't it be amazing if we could have an in-person and likely hybrid conference in May of 2023? That would just be amazing. But you know what? It's not up to us, but we're hoping that the pandemic gods will, go away, basically. So, now we like to take this opportunity to thank, we have so many volunteers who work behind the scenes to make PAVRO happen. And these are members maybe not just last year, but they continue to do so. So it's just an opportunity to thank as many people as possible. So we have a communications team, we have our certifications team.
And Alex, if you could read out those names.
Oh,
that would
of
be
course.
helpful.
So on
Please.
communicate, and I do apologize if I've left someone out inadvertently. So please put it in your chat, put the chat in if I've left out any members. So communications, we have Ruth Pentinga, Heather Johnson, Denise Hawken, and Andy Leung. Certification, we have Rachel Murphy, Joan Annabelle, Anna Grenier, Natalie Little, Morgan Richardson, Nancy Hayes, Donna Jean-Pierre, Kim McFell, and Tessa Petra. Mentorship, we have Megan Innes, Carrie Astles, Sherry Daly, and Jennifer Morowitz. AVA liaison, she stepped down last year, Christine Rushton. We have our webinar committee of Debbie Leith, Michelle Weeks, Alina Needham, and Helena Finn-Vickers. We have our Equity and Diversity Inclusion Working Group, Jennifer Morowitz, Kim Umbach, Lori Porthouse, Amanda Maragos, and Jessica Payne Parks. And so for the certification town hall, we had the assistance of Adrian Boudry and Reva Cooper, and then the awards committee of Tessa Hetrick and Charmaine Cadies. They were both award winners the year before, so that's why they were serving on our awards committee. And then finally, we have our conference teams. So I do want to acknowledge the 2021 conference team of Heather Johnson, Kathleen Douglas, Deb Watch, Amanda Maragos, Adinka Jagede from Better Impact. And then the 2022 conference, Heather Johnson, Deb Watch again, Amanda Maragos again, and Adinka Jagede again. So it's amazing. Thank you so much.
And Alex Vasek on both of those for both those years.
Well,
yes.
okay. Yeah, but I'm thanking. I'm not going to thank myself. And I really
thank you.
Honestly, you guys did most of the work. Okay, so this is a fun part. If I could, oh yes, okay. So here's my script, And now for a special surprise announcement for this year's President's Award. One of my final and most pleasurable acts as I step down as your president is to award, let's see if my animations are going to work. I want to is to
Oh my
award
goodness.
incoming President Heather Johnson with the President's Award. Heather, you'll actually receive the award during our award ceremony on November 5th on International Volunteer Managers Day. As most of you know, the award ceremony was typically held during our in-person conferences, and due to the pandemic, AGM and awards are held at different times of the year now. But I'm making this announcement now because I'm not going to be president. Like, I'm actually not president, so but I did want to do this. So the President's Award was created to recognize a member or volunteer who's helped to solve a critical problem, worked behind the scenes on a special project, provided a unique contribution or extraordinary leadership to the organization. This recognition is not awarded every year, and it's reserved for members who truly go above and beyond the call of duty. So I just want to take a few moments to share why I wanted to recognize Heather with the President's Award. I've known Heather since my days serving on TAVA's executive committee almost 10 years ago. She succeeded me as TAVA's president, and I was closely watching her performance on TAVA's board so that I could recruit her to PAVRO's board when she completed her term as past president there. As with everything else, as with everything she does, she very competently took on the communications and marketing role on the PAVRO board before moving on to the vice president position 2 years ago. During her short 3 years on the PAVRO board, she's made some outstanding contributions to PAVRO. She led our last 2 conference committees and helped create 2 terrific and engaging virtual conferences. She connected us with Charity Village and secured an in-kind sponsorship for our conferences. She was a key figure in our advocacy working group and produced an excellent report from the advocacy town hall and the follow-up survey, which will serve as a blueprint for PAVRO advocacy work for years to come. She was also an instrumental member of our certification review committee and created another excellent report, which helped inform the historic decision we made to align with the CCVA in offering the CVA to our members. Most recently, she took on the huge and important task of reviewing all the existing board positions descriptions and creating new ones, which resulted in the slate that we presented to you today. I feel like this brief outline of her accomplishments just skims the surface. Heather exemplifies excellence and accountability in everything she takes on. I'm so incredibly grateful and relieved that she's agreed to serve as your president. I know that I leave this post in extremely capable hands. Please join me in congratulating Heather Johnson.
Oh my goodness. Thank you very much. I didn't know about this, but I have told Alex that if she moves on after this, I'm not following her because she's very, very good at recruiting and her. Yes,
I'm a good salesperson.
Yes, she is. She is. No, thank you very much. It's been my honor to serve and to continue to serve, and I look forward to working with everyone. I've learned a great deal from you, Alex. I've learned a huge amount from everyone that's on the board. I have all of your phone numbers, so you're not getting away. But I am here because of the great work that people have laid before us, and I hope that I will serve this organization well over the next couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you, and I know you will, Heather. So that we're just about at the end of our meeting. So this is your opportunity to share, let us know what's going on, any thoughts, any suggestions on what we can do moving forward to strengthen this association. We would love to hear from you. Okay, well, oh, look who's joined us on this call.
I love it. Yes, we are a pet-friendly environment.
Yes.
Love it.
Especially to the virtual pets.
Yes, yes.
That's great. Well, maybe I know that Joanne has prepared our ever popular wheel of names. So I'm going to stop my share.
Okay, everyone, good luck.
Drum rolls, everyone, drum rolls.
Congratulations. Miriam, I'll be in touch soon with how to get this lovely gift card to you.
Okay, great. Let me just go back to my screen here. Okay, well, if there's no other discussion, we will, I now need to ask the final poll question, which is to officially adjourn our meeting.
Before we do that, I would like to say thank you to Alex for her role in as chair as she moves into the role of past chair. So on behalf of all of us, thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you.
I know that you will be continuing in your role, but yes, just wanted to express that. Thank you so much for all that you've done.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I look forward to, I've been sort of reflecting on my last 3 years, so I'm going to be probably writing something up for the power line, Denise. I'm sure you'll be happy about that, right? There we go. But
Okay, so who's moving to close this meeting? Charmaine, I see your
oh
hand
yes,
raising.
I did it again. You see?
Who's seconding this? Denise is going to second it. Okay, awesome.
I'm obviously so anxious to like finish off the meeting.
He's looking to move into past president really quick, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's happening.
Exactly. Oh dear. No, it's been an incredible like 3 years, like trying to keep this organization going and this association going during a pandemic was not easy. And but it was a huge learning and growth sort of opportunity for all of us, I think.
Looks like we are everyone is in favor.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll. Share results just to make it all official. We had 29 people who voted.
And there's a couple in the chat.
And a couple in the chat. And so that means we are officially adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And we will be in touch hopefully in September. We're going to launch our next webinar. We don't know what it is yet, but we will be, you'll be getting that information in your inboxes really soon.
Wonderful. And if our retiring and incoming board could hang on the call for a few minutes, we just want to get everyone together. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Have a fantastic summer, and you will hear lots from us over the next few months as the new board prepares to launch things out for September.
I will stop my share.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I think sometimes what happens is people walk away from their screen.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. Things
Congrats,
happen.
team.
Okay.
You did great. Junior liked it too.
Yes. He was like, "This is the last time you have to take minutes, right, Mom?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Fantastic. Nicole and Kathleen, are you able to turn video on?
Oh, there's Kathleen.
There's Nicole. Awesome.
Nicole,
Good to see
sorry.
everyone. Congratulations to our new directors. Welcome. And thank you so much, Jessica, for all that you've done. And my last thing I'm going to ask you to do is to connect, because Nicole's coming into your role. So I'm going to facilitate connections between everyone. And for those that I've had an opportunity to meet online, Veronica, unfortunately, our incoming vice chair, is not able to join us. I am going to connect with everybody one-on-one, just to introduce myself, learn more about you, and provide you with some general information around, your roles and how it fits in. And then I'm looking to do some board orientation in August. Depending on people's availability, some of the the standard stuff I might just record and send it out to you. But in my top right-hand corner is the lovely Joanne Deschamps, who is our membership and administrative coordinator. I am going to be ensuring that we have a meeting with Joanne and Sharon, who is our other independent contractor who does our bookkeeping, so that they can provide all of us with a bit of an overview on the work that they do and how they support PAVRO. So one of the things that we'll be changing as well is we will be setting up Gmail accounts for everyone. So I know right now I'm communicating with you mostly through your personal accounts. We will be, I'm hoping by mid-July that everyone will have a Gmail account, whether or not that's like PAVRO Marketing, PAVRO Communications. We'll figure out what it's going to look like. And then we do have we use the Google suite of products. So materials and things like that will be available to you in those folders. So hang tight with using your own personal email for the next little bit as we get that set up. But I am really looking forward to working with everybody. And like I said, Alex isn't getting off the hook. I'm meeting with her Saturday.
Yeah, we're meeting in person.
Yes, yes. So I know that, and that's something I would like to talk about in one of our early meetings, is to see how we could get folks who live in close enough to each other to come together for meetings. Zoom works, but it would be nice to have us in person in small groups, even if that's possible, because there's great energy in this on this team. So I will help facilitate those connections. But yeah, welcome to the team, and I'm delighted that everyone is here. Perfect. All right, Madam Chair, anything else we'll need to do?
No, I think we're good. This is wonderful. I'm so excited to work with you guys, and because I have a real sense of optimism about PAVRO. I feel like we're going to be on an upward trajectory now. I think we kind of hit bottom during the pandemic, so I think things are going to go up from here.
Yeah. So what, Joe, go ahead.
I just want to say, I'm privileged to be part of the board. Nice meeting everybody, and I look forward to working with all of you to continue advocating for PAVRO.
Fantastic, thank you. So I did, you heard Alex mention that what we will do is be showcasing each of our new board members in our ePowerline. So if you're not subscribed to ePowerline, please do that. Subscribe to our social media channels as well. Denise and I will connect about how best to work this out. In the past, kind of what we've done is sort of sent a little questionnaire, like kind of the 10 questions. You answer those 10 questions and you provide us with a photograph that you'll let us publish. Okay, there are rules around what and then that'll go out into ePowerline, and we put that up onto the website as well, so people know who the board directors are. What we'll then do is attach the PAVRO Gmail accounts to that as well, so that people can reach out and connect with us as they need to do that. There'll be no, just for those that aren't aware, our board meetings are typically sort of September through to June. There won't be a board
December,
there won't be a board meeting in June. There won't be a board meeting in December. August typically is sort of that orientation, getting ready to roll. We do approximately, it's about 2 hours a month for board meetings, but then there'll be work in between. So we'll hash all of that out over the next little bit, and I'll send out some doodle polls to set up those meeting times and things. But yeah, don't hesitate.
And Heather you and I can work on that organizational calendar too.
Yeah.
We'll update that and then send that out over the summer so people can kind of plan.
So we'll have some orientation around what it means to be on a board in general, and what's happening at PAVRO, what's happened. As Alex has alluded to, it's been a challenging couple of years with the pandemic, but I do believe we're moving around through the corner. And for Jessica, who's retiring, you and Nicole can connect just to talk about, the process of being secretary. Jessica has created fantastic templates, which is great. And Dean, unfortunately, Florence has made the decision to step away from her, from the co-chair role that we spoke about. So you and I, when we talk, we'll talk about what the workload looks like. And if you feel that you would like, someone to support you in that, having a second person, we'll talk about that. But Florence's work at the hospital, she works for Scarborough Health Network, which has, it's really hospitals in general have had challenges, and she oversees 3 sites. So she's made the decision that stepping back right now would be better for her. So we will be reaching out to thank her for her service and go from there. And Jessica, are you taking a picture of us?
No, I'm actually just checking my email. Sorry.
She's out of here. All right. Well, again, thank you, everyone. Welcome. And I'll be in touch. Now, I just let you know, I'm going to be away from the 17th to the 27th, and I will not have access to email because I'm going to be working on some PAVRO stuff. So I'll send out a note, and if anything comes up, you can always connect with Alex or Joanne, but we'll get some processes started. So hopefully by mid-July, we'll have you with your Gmail accounts, reports and information that you need to sort of help bring yourself up to speed. And then in August, we'll launch into the orientation and planning, and then and have some things to be able to offer our members starting in September. Sound good?
Good.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Good to see you.
Thanks, see you.
Talk to you soon. Have a great afternoon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now.